Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, Victoria Airport faces a construction delay. Why abandoned vehicles are the problem. Plus, a Texas political battle could ripple nationwide. The map fight dividing lawmakers. And furniture dumped on Victoria streets, the crime that could land you in jail.
We had a strong line of thunder showers that rolled through the area. Got about a half an inch of rain. Right about now, everything's sort of settled down. What about tonight and tomorrow? I'll have the latest for you coming up after this.
And a small crossroads town gets big recognition for its tourism efforts. You're watching 25 News Now at 5. Good afternoon and thank you for being with us. I'm Shawna Currie. Victoria Airport officials say parked cars are delaying the start of construction work. The airport director shared the urgent need for the owners to remove their parked vehicles at this morning's Victoria County Commissioners Court meeting, saying there are about 10 to 15 vehicles parked in the airport parking lot. The airport will be temporarily closing the runway through September 4th for construction, so there are no commercial flights available in or out of the Victoria Regional Airport until after construction is complete. A United Airlines flight bound for Germany was forced to make an emergency landing in Washington, D.C. last month. Minutes after a liftoff from Dulles International Airport, the pilot declared Mayday after telling air traffic control the plane had some sort of engine failure. The Boeing 787 aircraft was able to return to Dulles about 2 hours later. A fire and rescue crew checked the plane after it landed, then took it to a gate. Officials say no other flights were disrupted and no injuries were reported. The fight over Texas's congressional maps could shake up politics across the country. Under direction from President Trump, Texas Republicans are pushing to redraw district lines, adding 5 more GOP-leaning seats in hopes of boosting their numbers in Congress. Democrats walked out in protest before the vote, with Governor Abbott this afternoon ordering their arrest. ABC's Christiane Cordero has more from Washington.
Today, the Texas legislature was set to vote on a new congressional map, but notably absent most of the state's Democrats. They left in protest against their Republican colleagues' plan, which, at the direction of President Trump ahead of next year's midterm elections, could boost Republican representation by redrawing lines in several districts.
But Texas Democrats are fighting back. We're leaving the state, breaking quorum, and preventing Republicans from silencing our voices and rigging the next election.
The redistricting effort is unique in its timing. Congressional maps are typically redrawn once a decade to reflect the changes in population from the latest census. But the tactic of redistricting for political gain is not new. Texas Republicans are overrepresented in Congress relative to how Texans vote for presidential elections, as are Democrats in states like California and Illinois. Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott condemned Democrats' decision to leave the state. Doing so delays all votes in the state's special session, which needs 2/3 of its members to vote on anything. Abbott spoke to the Fox News Channel.
Our fellow Texans are being let down and not getting the flood relief they need because these Democrats have absconded from the responsibility, and I believe they have forfeited their seats in the state legislature because they're not doing the job they were elected to do.
Despite the delay tactic, Abbott and Texas Republicans are expected to get their new congressional map, though it could come with legal challenges and potential ripple effects in several other states nationwide.
This is a legitimate process that has been used before. By breaking quorum and being here today, these legislators are getting into what John Lewis might call good trouble.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul and California Governor Gavin Newsom have each suggested they will take a closer look at their congressional maps, though it's unclear if either plan would pan out before next year's midterms. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Gusty winds ahead of a line of thunderstorms caused power outages and brought down numerous tree limbs in the Victoria area. The winds were estimated to be gusting over 40 miles per hour. This is video of a neighborhood near the intersection of Ben Jordan and Sam Houston. The same winds also caused power outages in parts of Victoria and Calhoun counties. As of 4:30 this afternoon, there were still more than 200 customers without electricity in each county. Now let's go to Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez to see what we can expect for our weather going into tonight. Mac?
Well, thank you very much. The line of storms was pretty interesting. If you had watched our news last night at 10 o'clock, you would have seen the line develop north of Dallas. Then it became a squall line, you can call it that. Technically, it's a mesoscale convective complex, and you can see how that line went right on through from North Texas down through our area. I think it made it all the way down to almost Brownsville, but that stormy weather left the rain, and that was good. Of course, we had a little bit of a wind problem, but that's going to be settling down. Tomorrow, we're going to have more pop-up shower activity like we normally get with the sea breeze, but today that was a storm complex that I think began in Oklahoma, made it all the way through our area. So we'll take a closer look at what to expect for the rest of the week coming up in just a moment. Shawna, back to you.
Illegal dumping is a growing problem in Victoria, and it's a crime. Recently, a mattress was dumped near Ash Street and North Laurent, and a couch was found on North Azalea Street. Residents should report dumping through the Victoria TX 311 app, which sends details to the proper city department. Penalties for illegal dumping range from misdemeanors to felonies, depending on the dumped material. City leaders urge quick reporting to keep Victoria clean and safe. For our viewer poll tonight, we're asking, what do you think is the best way to address illegal dumping in Victoria? Is it through increased fines, more surveillance cameras, community cleanup programs, or public awareness campaigns? And right now, 59% of voters feel that increased fines would be the best deterrent to illegal dumping, followed by 30% saying more surveillance cameras. Go to crossroadstoday.com/vote to let us know what you think. As lawmakers continue to debate banning hemp-derived THC, some rural Texans say it helps ease addiction, health concerns, and economic woes that hit their communities the hardest. To read the full Texas Tribune article, go to crossroadstoday.com. 2 young children from Gaza arrived in Houston to receive life-changing medical care after being severely wounded in the region's ongoing conflict. Orko Mana has their story.
A warm welcome in Houston for 2 kids coming from the other side of the globe, supporters showering them with love.
Just give them a sense of community and a sense of hope.
The nonprofit Heal Palestine saying 7-year-old Bara and 10-year-old Heba were severely wounded during the ongoing conflict in Gaza. Bara lost both legs in a bombing, and Heba had one leg amputated after a strike.
Our goal is to obtain charity care from hospitals here.
Heal Palestine board member Greg Stock says through donors and volunteers, his organization brought Bara and Heba to Houston, where they'll receive life-saving medical treatment and prosthetic legs.
Why did you want to become so invested in this mission?
My heart aches with what's going on. And so I just want to use the small gifts that I can to try to give something back.
Bara and Heba are part of a group of 15 children arriving in the U.S. this week through Heal Palestine to stay with the host family and get the help they need.
Why was it so important to have Houston be a location for part of this mission as well?
So Houston's got the largest medical center in the country.
Farah Shaw with the Houston chapter says this will make a difference.
It's given us a chance to be able to do a small part towards helping these people and these precious children that deserve so much more.
This goes beyond the medical care they receive right after they land here in Houston. This is also about long-term support.
These children need education. They need to learn leadership. There's so much that's involved. A lot of them are going through severe trauma, PTSD.
The dozens greeting the kids at Bush Airport Sunday, displaying hope and humanity.
To welcome the 2 kids that are coming and to give them a big welcome from the Houston community, show that there are people there for them.
We're all human at the end of the day, and it's like people's lives matter regardless of, it's like, it's more than just people in Palestine, it's like all around the world.
The Victoria City Council is officially kicking off next year's budget process. At tomorrow night's meeting, they will take a look at the proposed tax rate, set dates for public hearings on the budget, and schedule when to vote on adopting the new rate for the upcoming fiscal year. Also on the agenda, a public hearing on whether to put a collective bargaining item for the Victoria Fire Department on the November ballot. Governor Greg Abbott is congratulating the city of Hallettsville for earning a Tourism-Friendly Texas Certified Community designation. The recognition comes from Travel Texas and highlights the city's efforts to grow tourism, boost the local economy, and create jobs. The Hallettsville Chamber of Commerce and city leaders say they are proud to promote the area's heritage, festivals, and small-town charm. Hallettsville now joins other Texas communities working to attract more visitors from across the state, the country, and around the world. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us. Straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. A major change coming to Social Security payments. The September deadline you need to know. Plus, 2 new studies reveal why more people in their 40s are getting diagnosed with cancer. The government is phasing out paper checks for federal payments. That includes Social Security. Starting September 30th, you will need to switch to direct deposit or a prepaid debit card called Direct Express. This move aims to cut costs and reduce fraud. If you are 90 or older, have a mental impairment, or live in a remote area, you may qualify for a waiver. You can find out more at godirect.gov. More younger adults are being diagnosed with colorectal cancer, and 2 new studies suggest it may be tied to more people in their late 40s getting screened. Since the screening age was lowered from 50 to 45, rates have gone up along with early stage diagnosis. Experts say they are still figuring out the cause, but you can lower your risk by staying active, eating healthy, and avoiding tobacco and processed red meat. Well, it's a perfect way to carry school supplies, but improperly worn backpacks stuffed to the brim can lead to discomfort and soreness for some students. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has tips on how to prevent school backpack pain.
First, there are binders, notebooks, paper, pencils, and all the things students stuff into their backpacks. It can make the school day feel a little heavy.
Backpacks, as long as they're used properly, they should never cause any sort of pain or discomfort.
Dr. Caroline Weingart with Nationwide Children's Hospital says when backpacks aren't properly used, it can lead to neck, shoulder, or back pain. The first way to prevent it is by choosing the right backpack. She says it should have 2 wide padded shoulder straps and a padded back. A waist or chest strap can also help with heavy loads. Next, pack it properly.
The heaviest items should be in the backpack, packed closest to the back, and then the more lighter items towards the outside of the back. That helps the weight to be distributed in a way that it's easiest for the child to carry.
Weingart says the backpack should never be heavier than 15% of the child's body weight. So for example, a 100-pound child shouldn't be carrying a bag that weighs more than 15 pounds. And finally, focus on how your child is carrying their backpack.
Make sure that they're using both straps and not just one.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The doctor says that children should not be hunched over while carrying their backpack. If they are leaning forward in order to carry it, that may be a sign that it's too heavy. Rolling backpacks may also help carry heavy loads if your child's school allows them.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's 88 degrees. It actually lowered, I think, 72 right in the middle of the rain. So it was a pretty interesting afternoon as the rain rolled through. It feels like 95 out there. Our official guy got up to 91 before the rain came in. And so far at the airport, we received 3,500. But once we start getting the totals around the area, we'll have a better idea of who got what. Tonight, everything sort of settles down. Tomorrow, we'll see a little bit more, but nothing like today. We'll talk more about it coming up after this. Once again, one of those weather features that started off in Oklahoma and made it all the way down to our area. You can see the thunder and lightning rolling right across our region. Again, at 10 o'clock tonight, this was already formed. You could see it traveling. You know, the question was, at what point will it start to decrease in intensity? And the point was actually below us. At this hour, you can see how everything's down below Victoria, actually past Corpus Christi, and almost getting down to the Rio Grande Valley. But generally speaking, not as strong as it was earlier in the evening. Now, see this line right here? That's what kind of triggered it and started pushing it south. And then it just got its own circulation and kept rolling. Interesting that the heat wave is over for the east. Remember last week? It was brutal. But now it's all moved to the southwest. Places like Tucson, Arizona, which are normally very hot, well, they're going to be near record high temperatures, about 110, 112 by middle of this week. Once again, there's the Dallas area. We'll look at this again as it evolved. There's Wichita Falls. We'll go back to the top, and you'll see it roll right across I-10. You could see it roll through Victoria, and it actually Corpus didn't get as much rain as we did, so the rain was good. Look at that, up to a good solid ½ inch in many areas. Right on along the path, basically going all the way through Bryan College Station and on up into the Dallas area. But as of this hour, most of the activity now beginning to decrease, and so we'll call it quiet for the evening. One thunder shower continues out there and also one way down in the valley. But by and large, like I said, the East Coast heat wave, that's over with. They get a break. But the West Coast heat wave, the Southwest, will be baking for the next few days. Now, our heat index will be warm tomorrow because the sun is out and we've got all this moisture in the air. So with the humidity, it'll feel like 109. We'll be really perspiring, but you'll see a few little pop-ups tomorrow. Then as we get here, we start lowering down to 105, but an area of Saharan dust is rolling in, which is going to settle things down. Now, all of a sudden, the Atlantic is getting busy. Here is the middle Atlantic. There's Africa. We've got a system that began there, is now rolling through here, has a good potential to actually evolve into a storm. Up here is Dexter, right about here, but Dexter's going out to sea, another area off the coast of the Carolinas. None of this is expected to get into the Gulf of Mexico, fortunately for us. This one is going to get really close to the Mexican Pacific coast, and obviously we hope they're watching it carefully. This is Henrietta, very busy on the Pacific side, not so much on the Atlantic. Taking a look at Future Tracker, we start tonight with the leftover showers. It settles down through the overnight time period. We'll start off very nicely tomorrow afternoon on Tuesday, but in the afternoon you're going to see some pop-up showers coming in with a sea breeze during the afternoon right about there. So look for a few more, and then again fewer on Wednesday, and then we go into that dry period. Here's that big bubble of high pressure bringing a heat wave to where? the deserts of the Southwest. So tomorrow we're looking for partly cloudy, a few afternoon showers, high of about 91 in Port Lavaca. Those of you in Cuero, you're getting up to 93. Look for a couple more, again, afternoon showers. And your 7-day, things quiet down, and most of the week's going to be on the hot side with the temperatures hovering in the upper 90s. That's your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone, and we'll toss it back to Shawna.
Still to come on 25 News Now at 5, military aircraft production grinds to a halt as thousands of workers walk off the job. U.S. stocks surged today with the Dow recouping Friday's losses. The Dow gained nearly 600 points. The S&P 500 gained nearly 1.5%, ending a 4-session losing streak. And the Nasdaq jumped nearly 2%. Oil is down $1.19 to $66.14 per barrel. We now turn to the latest on the economy and President Trump's trade war ramping up, with his rising tariffs set to take effect on Thursday. It comes after the firing of the Bureau of Labor Statistics head, with Trump claiming without evidence that last week's jobs report was, quote, rigged. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
A big bounce back on Wall Street today. It comes as President Trump's trade war ramps up, affecting most of America's trading partners. The president's executive order raising tariffs on nearly 70 countries. All countries will now face at least 10% tariffs, while others will face tariffs ranging from 15% to as high as 40%. Economists say prices will likely go up for the average American on everything from electronics to cars and produce. According to Reuters, the European Union striking a deal with President Trump, agreeing to delay retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods by 6 months. Meanwhile, the president also weighing in on firing the top official at the Bureau of Labor Statistics after last week's weaker-than-expected jobs report.
We'll be announcing a new statistician sometime over the next 3-4 days. We had no confidence. I mean, the numbers were ridiculous.
President Trump posted today on social media the jobs report was rigged, but there's no evidence of that. Experts warn a political appointee could actually skew the data.
When you go and look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics data, they are a nonpartisan agency. They put out information on what is happening in the U.S. economy. If we're not getting reliable information, it becomes much harder for the Federal Reserve to be able to adjust its interest rates based on the actual functioning of the economy.
A top White House economic advisor admits that the job numbers were slower than expected, but also defended the president's decision to fire that top labor data official. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
BP is ramping up its global oil and gas production. The energy giant says it wants to boost output from 2.3 to 2.5 million barrels a day by the end of the decade. And a major new discovery in Brazil could help make that happen. BP just struck oil in the deepwater Santos Basin, calling it their biggest find in 25 years. It's the company's 10th discovery this year, with others in places like Trinidad and Egypt. BP says it's diving deeper into fossil fuels and plans to keep analyzing new data from the Brazil site. Boeing is facing another strike, this time from 3,200 machinists in the St. Louis area. Workers at 3 defense plants walked off the job demanding better pay and schedules. They build military aircraft, including F-15 fighter jets. It's Boeing's second strike in less than a year, adding pressure to a company already dealing with years of financial struggles. Still, the CEO says this one will not hit as hard as last year's walkout by commercial plane workers. Well, still to come, your favorite childhood story just got deliciously real. We'll explain next.
Tonight, showdown in Texas over the Republicans' new congressional map. The governor threatening Democratic lawmakers. Plus, massive wildfires triggering air quality alerts from the Midwest to the Northeast. World News Tonight with David Muir is the most watched newscast in America.
Would you eat them here Would you eat them there? Would you eat them anywhere?
I'll eat the ham.
Okay, well, just in time for back to school, Hormel and Dr. Seuss have teamed up to launch a limited edition Green Eggs and Spam Classic Twin Pack. It comes in a collectible can and is only available for a limited time. The collab celebrates the 65th anniversary of Dr. Seuss's beloved book, Green Eggs and Ham. You can get the Sam I Am approved recipe at the official Spam brand website.
How do they make the eggs green? That's what I want to know.
Food coloring? I don't know.
It doesn't look quite as appetizing.
No.
In green.
It's a great book. Don't get me wrong.
It's a great book. It's wonderful literature, but when you look at it, you're going, no, I wouldn't eat it.
Yeah. I love Dr. Seuss books, all of his books.
He was terrific.
Yes.
Well, folks, we are looking at, of course, the stormy weather that came through. That's settled down already. It's all pretty much over for today. Tomorrow will pop up a few more little showers. Will not be anything like today. So if you're going to be outdoors, just look at little garden variety afternoon showers developing for Tuesday, less on Wednesday, and then just hot and steamy for the rest of the week. In the tropics, it's beginning to get a little bit active in the Atlantic, but none of it is threatening the Gulf or Texas at this point in time.
All right. It was nice not to have to pull out the sprinkler and the hose and all of that today.
You know, I actually cut the grass over the weekend, and I'm going, I don't think I'm going to do this again.
Yeah, I washed my car, so I guess that's the reason it rained.
There you go. Oh, thank you for your sacrifice.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here in 30 minutes for 25 News Now at 6.